Hi there friends, it's Marie here again for Tonic Studios, and I am sharing the Stamp Club Stamp and Die set for this month. This one's really sweet and cute, and I think you're gonna like it. So I'll switch you to my other camera and show you what is in the Stamp Club for this month. All right, so we have the stamps and the dies for this month, and it's a really cute and sweet honey and bears and bees kind of a theme here. So I'll just go ahead and walk you through the stamps, and then I'll show you some of the dies. So we have, like I mentioned, these really cute bears. You've got this guy here hanging on the tree. You've got him who you could have him holding a honey pot or the beehive, or even have him hugging this little cute little cub here. So we've got the little cub and the mama bears or daddy bears. This guy here who he could also be holding the honey pot. I think that's so super cute. We've got a few tree trunks here, so you could build your own little forest, little bush that you can make a scene with, a little bee that you can color and cut out. I think that's so super cute. An extra branch, beehive, and a honey pot. Now there's also some fun stamps in here like these bear tracks. There are some of these honeybees, kind of a silhouette type stamp. These music notes in case you want to make it look like they're humming or anything like that. There's also lots of fun sentiments, some fun punny sentiments that you can mix and match to make your own sentiment on your cards. So we have hello, we have you're sweeter than, and obviously you can pair that with honey. Big bear hugs. I love you very much. Thank you very much. You give the best bear hugs. So you could mix and match all of these. They even include the word baby. So if you wanted to make some really fun baby cards, you could. Now they also have some dies over here, and like always, Tonic gives you the coordinating dies that cut out the images. So you can see I've got all the images cut out. I've used those coordinating dies to cut these out. And there's also some dies that coordinate with the whole set, but not necessarily with this stamps, so that you can use the dies on their own to create a really fun card design. So I wanted to show you here, they've got a few of these dies here that give you that fun sort of like honey dripping kind of border, and I've cut that out for this card here, and I added that to the top of this card, and then I added some of these images and some of those trees, a little honey beehive, stamped some of those bee silhouettes to make it look like this little bear is climbing up the tree to get all of that honey, and then I did some of those mix and match sentiments that are you were sweeter than honey, and I thought this was a really cute card. Love those borders that you can do some creative things with. Now, there's a few of those borders. There's this one, and then there's a more of a wavy one. There's some branches that you can cut out. Now, I haven't used those on a card yet, but I was thinking it would be even fun to use some of those and cut out some vellum. So I cut them out of some vellum paper. Could layer that on sort of a monochromatic type card and get a really clean and simple look with those, or cut them out of any kind of paper and kind of color your own branches in. Now there's also some hearts here that you can cut out, and these are really kind of fun. These are tree rings. Now I've made a little card so that you can kind of see what they look like. I've got some of those hearts like I mentioned, and behind this little bear I cut out those tree rings and I've stacked them up. I've also run them through my die machine with a wood grain embossing folder. So it gave it some of that wood grain texture. You don't need to do that, but I did go ahead, cut them out, ink blended the edges, and then layered them up. It looks like a tree stump or tree rings. I think it's really fun. And of course, I put my little bear on there. I layered the sentiment, love you very much. And I used a larger circle die from my stash to create a circle card. All you have to do to create a card that is in a shape is fold your cardstock, put your little die on the edge, it's hanging off the edge a little bit, it's not cutting this edge, run it through your die machine, and that way after it cuts, you have this area that is still attached, and you can make a shaped card. So that's what I did with my circle dies to make this circle card. So just at a glance, that is the stamp club for this month. You've got all these fun honeybees and bear type images and dies. I think it's really fun. There's so many fun things you can do with these. I will be making a card, another card with all of these things, so stay tuned. But I just wanted to give you a first look. So that is the stamp club for this month. Love you very much, I believe it's called. And I think it's just really fun. So I promised you that we would make a card, and that is what we're gonna do. I have an idea of what I wanna do. I'm not sure how it's gonna turn out, but we're gonna go for it. Now, I already kind of mentioned some of these dies. You've got some of these border dies that cut out sort of that honey, drippy type border that I've got in the background here. And we've got some of these dies that cut out tree rings, which I think is really fun. And that's what I used on this card to stack them together. I thought I would use the tree rings again today to make sort of a layered card with some really fun elements. So we're going to try that. I've got a piece of craft cardstock cut down to 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 panels, and this is your typical card size. Now I was going to maybe use one as my card base and then cut some of those tree rings out of these 3 and layer them on top. So we're going to see how that works. I'm not sure, like I mentioned, I haven't done it before, but I'm going to use a bunch of different sizes together here. So I think I'm going to put this one sort of towards the bottom, and I'm going to use this largest die to kind of be my guide for each of my panels going forward. So I'm going to tape that down, run it through my die machine, cut it out. And that is my first layering panel. Now you can see that these dies really do give you that nice jaggedy edge. That's making it look like a tree trunk, really. So I'm going to go back, I'm going to go down a size now, and I want to line this up, and it does not have to be perfect because, you know, it's already got that jagged edge, so you don't have to worry about things being perfect. I just want to kind of line it up and keep going down each size for each layer of my card so that as you stack them together, you can see all of those layers together in there. So I'm going to run that one through my die cutting machine as well. Okay, so we're going to remove that one. And I would say don't throw away these little circle pieces because you can use these for another card if you wanted to stack them on. We're not going to be using them today, but you can see how I'm starting to get those stacked together. I'm actually using not the positive cuts, but the negative cuts because I want to get everything sort of layered together. So you can see this coming together here. You can see the little layers going in on these card pieces. And I'm going to do one more layer with the next size down. Again, I want to just kind of kick it off the edge just a little bit, I think. So we're actually getting a really fun sort of focal point here. With all of these frames being cut. All right, so here we go. I've got 3 of my frame pieces done. Setting those to the side, gonna save those little round pieces. And let's just take a look at what that all looks like when we have it layered together. So we've got kind of this fun little layered ring here. And I think in order to make it look a little bit more like a tree trunk, I'm going to do some ink blending. So I'm going to take my ink and my ink blending tools, And I'm actually going to be using, this is new, maybe you guys recognize it. This is the Tim Holtz, what is it called? I want to get the right name for you guys. It is the Media Grip. The Tim Holtz Media Grip. It's 10.5 by 12 inches. When you get it out of that box, you're going to peel off this plastic here, and it'll just stick. It's a little bit sticky, a little bit tacky, not too much. It's not going to tear your paper, but it'll stick to your work surface. And I love that because now you can put your papers down and do your ink blending, and it's not going to move around on you. So this is the first time I'm going to be using it. So let's see how it works. I'm just going to grab some of my inks, my brown inks, and grab some of my ink blending tools here. And let's give our card a little bit of color. So I'm going to use this one. This is a dark brown. And I'm just going to kind of blend this on the edges of our ink, or not our ink, our tree ring here, because it's really going to help all of those edges stand out and help us to see all of the layers as we put everything together. I'm just going to keep blending that ink out around it. Since this is the top layer, I want that brown to kind of be blended out and not look choppy. I want smooth edges. Can even put some on the outside edges here. Looking a little bit more woodsy, maybe, like a tree trunk. That's kind of what I'm going for. All right, so that's the first layer. I'm just going to leave it as is right now. And now I'm going to ink blend my second layer. And I don't need to ink blend all around the outside like I did on my first layer. I just need to ink blend that inside portion. So that's what I'm going to do here. All right, so let's see how it's looking. Starting to come together, and I'm going to do our last layer here. Again, I just have to ink blend around the opening. And let's see what that looks like. All right, so that's looking kind of neat. I'm liking the looks of that. You could even just keep them together and kind of ink blend over it, I think, if you wanted to, because it's going to catch them edges. And I do want to add a little bit more blending on this top one. Kind of smooth it out a little bit. Okay, so I don't know about you guys, but this whole theme has me thinking of Winnie the Pooh. So I love Winnie the Pooh, so cute. But honey in the tree is kind of my inspiration for that. So I'm thinking this can go over our bottom layer and pop it up a little bit on some foam adhesive. And then I already showed you before that little, the little border here. We could put some honey inside of our tree and put some beads all around the outside if we wanted to. I haven't quite decided what I want to put in it yet, but I think this is really kind of fun. So we're going to go ahead and I think glue all of these together. Trying to line them up as good as possible. And then since this is the top layer, I think that one is maybe the most important. Let's glue those together. Some of the Nouveau Deluxe liquid glue. This is really great glue for all your paper crafting. I use it all the time. Just going to line all of these up. Stick them together. All right, so those are all lined up, stuck together. I think I don't know. I was thinking about running it through with an embossing folder, but I think at this point I should have done it before I cut that out, maybe, because I don't want to ruin all of that. So I think I'm just going to leave it as is. But I am going to use my trimmer and clean up those edges because I want everything to be really nice and clean. So cut through one of those edges, and that makes it much cleaner. All right, so next what we can do is decide what do we want to put in there. It would be cool to have like a fun little shaker window, wouldn't it? Where we can fill it with some sequins and things and maybe some honey drips or something. So let's see here. You know what might be really fun is if we took this and colored it a nice honey yellowish kind of color. Okay, so I've got one of the Nouveau alcohol markers. This is butternut squash, so I'm actually going to just move this over and quickly color it. All right, let me see what that might look like behind there. Well, that's kind of cute. Let me go over it again. Maybe smooth that ink out a little bit. And you can kind of add that behind there. The hair's stuck on there. All right, that's going to look kind of cute, I think. And then what I want to do next is also add... Ooh, you know what else we could do? Okay, so I've got some gold shimmers here. I'm gonna see if I can add some gold. There we go. Like gold and honey. Can layer behind. Oops, that was probably not smart. So I think I'm going to gonna glue that behind here, and see where that's gonna fit. And after I've got that glued, I can just trim the edges a little bit with my scissors. Make sure everything is aligned straight. And we can always add a little bit of foam adhesive behind that honey if we want to. But I think that's looking pretty cute. Also, I wonder if I should ink blend a little bit or just leave it. Not sure. Now we also have these cute little honeybees that we could stamp on there, stamp around the opening, and add some sentiments if we wanted to. Could add some branches. Okay. So I think I'm going to pop this up on some foam adhesive. I've got some of these big square foam pieces from Tonic Studios, and they make a variety of different colors. So they also have these tiny square pieces as well. I'm going to add some of those to the back of these the honey pieces, and also use some bigger pieces here. And the backing paper peels off really easily, which I love because I don't like to sit here struggling with the backing paper from adhesive. And then I can just line this up with that bottom cardstock piece and add that on there. I think that's really cute. Now we just have to add some of our fun little images on the front. Now that we've kind of built around it, we could add our little honey hive here if we wanted to. We could even put that on a branch above here. So it gives us the idea that that's our honey, our beehive, where the honey is coming from. So I'm going to add that on some foam adhesive. And then I'm just going to add a little glue to one of these branches and put that right above our beehive. Now I am going to cut that off as well. Super cute. And I want to add some of these little bee silhouette stamped pieces all around. Make it look like there's a lot of bees buzzing around the hive. So I'm going to take that. And some of my black ink. I'm just going to stamp some of these bees all around the hive. It's probably a better idea to stamp before you adhere things down to your card, because it does make it a little bit more difficult with that foam adhesive behind there, because you might not get as good of an impression. So it's probably better to go ahead and stamp all this before you glue things down, but I didn't really have a clear idea of where I was going with this before I started. So we're going with any idea that comes into my mind right now. Okay, so I think that's looking really cute. You could also add some of those little hearts if you wanted. I'm going to add this little bee here on a piece of foam adhesive. I can pop him up next to that hive. Maybe right about here. Okay, and then you could go ahead and stamp your sentiment, whatever you want to put on there. Sweeter than honey, hello, love you very much, bear hugs, any of that stuff. You're sweeter than honey. That one's cute as well. You could go add a sentiment. You could add some more of those bears if you wanted to. I think that's kind of cute as well. This guy could be peeking up from here. Trying to get some of that honey. Maybe we'll put mama and baby bear here together. I think that looks kind of cute, so let's go with that. Put baby bear on some foam adhesive. I use lots of foam adhesive on my cards. I love dimension. Put that one right there. So super cute. And then you can always add your sentiment. You can stamp it right on top, or you can add it off to the side. You could stamp it on a different piece of paper and then add some strips on there. That's what I did with these. Because it would be kind of hard to stamp on this background. So lots of different things that you could do with this stamp set. You could even leave it blank with no sentiment, because sometimes it's nice to have just blank cards, and then when you need something, you can pull out one of your blank cards and add the sentiment that you need for that occasion, and you don't have to commit to adding the sentiment right away if you don't want to. So lots of fun things that you can do with this stamp and die set. I hope it gives you some great ideas for your own crafting. Tell us what you think down in the comments. And as always, if you love this stamp set, if you create with it and you post it somewhere on social media, don't be afraid to tag Tonic Studios. We love to see what you guys are creating with. Also, if you haven't already, make sure you tap the bell for notifications, subscribe if you haven't, give us a thumbs up if you liked this video or gave you some new ideas, and leave us a comment down below. We love to hear from you guys. So thanks for stopping by today to see the stamp club for this month, and we will see you guys next time. Bye, everyone.